Jamie Dornan introduces Dakota to family and friends in preparation for their fairy tale wedding. The silver Range Rover turned onto the gravel drive leading to the old mansion on the outskirts of Belfast where Jamie Dornan's family had lived since childhood. The rows of oak trees stood solemnly on either side like an honor guard welcoming an honored guest. Jamie sat in the driver's seat, his hands on the wheel, but his eyes were filled with worry, not for anything too big, but for the woman sitting beside him, Dakota Johnson. "Are you okay?" he asked, glancing at his girlfriend. Dakota smiled, soft but nervous. She was wearing a cream-colored sweater, her hair pulled back loosely at the nape of her neck. "Fine, I've just never met anyone's extended family before. And yours, Jamie Dornan's, is a little stressful." Jamie laughed, patting her hand. "Trust me, they'll love you like I do. They're crazy about 50 Shades." Dakota rolled her eyes. "Really? I thought they didn't like me, too. Hollywood." "On the contrary, my mother said I had Audrey Hepburn's eyes. And you know, she loves classic movies." They both laughed, and the tension melted away. The car pulled up in front of the gate, where a middle-aged man was waiting. He waved, a smile on his tanned face. "My father," Jamie introduced. "Get ready." The small party was held in the back garden of the mansion, where a long table was covered with a white tablecloth, fresh flowers, and pale yellow string lights twinkled like stars. The sea breeze from the northern coast of Ireland blew gently, carrying the scent of freshly cut grass and baked apple pie. Dakota walked beside Jamie, hand in hand, nervous and excited. She had never imagined she would experience a moment like this, a family introduction not for a role, but for real life. "Jamie," a female voice called out, and a tall, curly-haired woman ran up to hug him. "Your sister, Leisha," Jamie introduced. Leisha looked Dakota up and down with curious but friendly eyes. "You're really pretty. Your eyes are just like the one on the poster in my room." Dakota laughed. "It's nice to meet you, Leisha." And just like that, in less than 10 minutes, Dakota was introduced to the entire Dornan family, his parents, his 2 sisters, a few cousins, and his Aunt Mairead, the local baking queen. Each person had a question, a smile, a story. The atmosphere was as warm as a classic British family drama. As the evening sun set, Jamie pulled Dakota out into the backyard, where a large lawn was decorated with lanterns and white flowers. "I want you to see this," he said. In the middle of the lawn, a flower arch had been erected. On it hung a small, handwritten sign, the beginning of a new chapter. Dakota held her breath. "Jamie," he turned, taking her hand. "I know how we started wasn't normal. Movies, scandals, rumors. But you know I've always been honest with you, right?" She nodded, her eyes welling up with tears. "And now, I want to do this the real way. No lights, no director, no script. Just you, me, and all the people who matter most to me. Dakota Mae Johnson, will you marry me?" She stared at him, as if she couldn't believe her ears. Then she burst into tears. "You proposed to me without a ring?" Jamie hesitated, then from his coat pocket he pulled out a small navy velvet box. "I'm not that crazy." The ring was simple, but elegant, a round diamond set in platinum. Not too big, not too flashy. Just enough to say, "I choose you." Dakota nodded slightly. "I do." Preparing for the wedding of her dreams, 3 weeks after her heartwarming proposal in Belfast, Dakota Johnson stood before a mirror in a London fashion studio. She was wearing the first of 10 wedding dresses she would try on. "How about this one?" she asked, turning to her 2 best friends, Tilda, her longtime stylist, and Sophie, her childhood friend from L. Tilda tilted her head. It's beautiful, but not me. I need something dreamier, more classic. Jamie's a nostalgic type, right? Dakota laughed. He said he wanted to marry me in the woods, under the moon. I think that's a sign of fairy tale addiction, Sophie shrugged. So why not? I'm the only one of us who can make it a real fairy tale. Meanwhile, Jamie sat in an old pub called the Raven's Call in Notting Hill, across from his three best friends, Eddie Redmayne, Andrew Garfield, and Robert Pattinson. Are you really going to marry Dakota Johnson? Andrew asked, half joking, half serious. Jamie nodded, his eyes determined. I've never been so sure about anything in my life. Eddie sipped his beer. You've passed the family council, now the best friends council. What we need to know, why Dakota? Jamie paused for a moment, then said, because when I'm with her, I don't have to act. She knows everything about me, the light and the dark, and she still chooses to stay. Robert smiled faintly. Okay, marry me, but we're throwing you a bachelor party in Iceland. You can't say no, back to Dakota. 6 dresses later, Dakota stepped out in an ivory lace design with a high neck, long sleeves, a tight waist, and a slight flare at the hem, like something out of a Victorian painting. The fitting room was silent. Tilda put her hand to her chest. Here it is, the dress. Sophie nodded, her eyes welling up. If Jamie saw me in this, he'd cry. Dakota turned to the mirror, examining herself. For a moment, she saw a woman about to embark on a new chapter, no longer the star of a scandalous drama, but a bride walking toward the man she loved. The first bad news. A week later, in the midst of everything going smoothly, Dakota's phone rang. It was Emily, her manager. We have a problem, Emily said bluntly. A tabloid in America is going to say that your wedding is a PR stunt, that you and Jamie aren't really in love. Dakota frowned. We've talked about this before. No one believes it anymore. Emily lowered her voice. This is different. They have a source close to them, someone who worked on 50 Shades. And they say you're still in touch with Chris Martin. Dakota sighed, closing her eyes. Anything can be twisted, right? It's worse, Emily continued. Jamie just cancelled a £1 million advertising deal because he didn't want the wedding to be commercialized. They're targeting you too. That evening, Jamie and Dakota sat side by side in their Kensington apartment. There were no flowers, no champagne, no laughter, just silence and a test of trust. You know what? Dakota said softly. Sometimes I wonder, are we running from something? Or are we on the right path? Jamie squeezed her hand. I don't know where it's going. But I do know one thing. Without you, it's all for nothing. Dakota looked into his eyes. And she knew, he was telling the truth. Recovery time, and a surprise. One morning, while Dakota was reviewing the music for the wedding, she was going to sing a song for Jamie, she received an email, not from the press, not from PR, but from Amelia Dornan, Jamie's mother. Honey, don't let outsiders overshadow the beauty that you and Jamie have. They don't live your lives. But we, your family, are here, waiting for the day when you can officially become a Dornan. I love you like a daughter. And I believe Jamie has chosen the right person, Amelia. Dakota burst into tears. Sometimes, acceptance doesn't come from the world of Hollywood, but from a small corner of Ireland, where a mother is waiting for her to walk down the aisle. Bachelor party, 2 worlds meet. 2 bachelor parties take place thousands of miles apart. Jamie and her best friends climb an iceberg in Iceland, camp in the snow, and at the end of the night, light a bonfire and share their final words before Jamie says goodbye to being single. Dakota throws a party at a manor in the Cotswolds, where the girls wear white dresses, dance under the moon, read poetry, play the harp, and end with a private fireworks display with only Jamie in sight.